Data science is using data and the scientific method to ostensibly solve business problems. Andrew Ng figured out that you could shove a large amount of data, a large amount of big data into a processing unit that was graphical or a GPU, you could get machine learning algorithms to go 100 times faster. So I'm going to use a concept called the wisdom of the crowd or the diversity prediction theorem for this explanation. Hi, I'm Beth Rudden. I'm currently CEO and Chairwoman of Bast AI. If we have 100 people in the audience that are all white women and all come from the same place, and we ask them to guess the amount of beans in a jelly bean jar, and they all say, their guesses, and we take an average of the 100 women, that guess or that mean will be closer to the truth if you did the same experiment with 10 people who had a wide variety of a background. So if you had, old people, young people, people from different cultures, people who spoke different languages, something other than a white woman, you would have a better chance of getting to that truth or to the right answer using the 10 people of high variance than the 100 people of the same variance. And the data sets that you're using to train the models, they need to have a high enough variance in order to be able to get closest to that truth. And most people think, well, if I just have terabytes of information, it's got to include variance, right? It's got to be like different. But in actuality, it's not. So right now, data science is a lot about machine learning and probabilistic learning and, learning that comes from things that deal in the realm of statistics. But there's this whole other side of semantics and logic and abductive and transitive inference. And there's all these other ways to learn that we inherently understand as human beings through like hierarchical learning. So there's all kinds of systems that we can put in play. And here's what I would look at is in today, data science is a little skewed on the statistical side, but if we bring it back to like dialectics and the Socratic dialogue on how to learn. Dialectics is asking questions, just like Socrates told everybody that he didn't want to write down anything, and he thought that writing would, defy people's critical thinking and take people back and not allow people to become more intelligent and more knowledgeable, because he believed very strongly in dialogue. And so dialectics is the study of understanding, how can I ask this question until I understand how I know what I understand? How do I know what I know? And that is the basis of what we see now with language models that we can ask questions to over and over and over again. We can start to inquire until we get to a point where, wait a second, I now know that what this thing is telling me is not true. Or I know that what this thing is telling me is true because I believe it to be true, because I believe its sources, its references, its variants of model or of data that it was used to train the models. When I'm talking about like data science being skewed to statistics, there's a misunderstanding that a huge amount of quantity equals to high quality. It does not. And, one thing about stories is that, this is the aspect many people argue, many philosophers argue that that's what makes us human, because there is wisdom in stories. And if we can find, the stories, that's how we move hundreds of people, thousands of people, millions of people through stories to do the thing. So maybe the question you want to be answering with the neighborhood study is, what is the stories or the set of stories that we need in order to collect to do a thing, to study what? What is your intent that you are doing in order to be able to create this study and create this body of data in the first place? What problem are you solving?
What is natural language processing? What are we doing to digest these stories? Don't be afraid. Down, down. That is so much.
You asked.